It is absolutely boiling today. Just got to get that lot out there now. Realise I've made an absolute fail and the spot is absolutely kicked off. Nothing's happening. Welcome to a new video. We are back on the bank. I am once again up in Oxford on the Syndicate chasing some Oxfordshire chunks. So this place is the Phil's Syndicate up in Abingdon. You've probably seen it a few times if you watch the channel regularly, but it has got a mega head of fish in it at the moment. A very good head of 30s, and there's possibly 3 or 4 fish going 40 pound at the right time of year. So some very nice fish to go at, and they are absolute bangers as well. So I'm always absolutely buzzing when I come up here, and to make things even better, I've got 2 nights to play with, which is a very rarity for me. Normally I just get the one night, maybe stay until like the following evening, but yeah, I never really get 2 nights. So it's the first time this year I've had 2 nights to play with, so I'm absolutely buzzing for it. To top that as well, it was my birthday yesterday, and I went out last night on the other Syndicate in the Cotswolds. Managed to have a mega linear this morning, banging fish. Go and check out that video. It would have been the one that came out before this. Yeah, absolute result. So I am absolutely on cloud 9. So I really hope we can get this swim rocking, get some fish going, and see if we can have a result. So I'm back in the in-between, and the reason for that is there's already 3 guys on here, and the top end of the lake is almost like stitched up at the moment. I've seen a couple of fish show out in front of here. The wind is pushing down towards this end as well, which when I had my first hit of fish in here, which is probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, the weather was very similar. So I am feeling quite confident that, you know, it could result in a few bites off of that spot. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So without mucking around too much, I'm going to start getting the kit sorted, start getting some bait mixed up. Let's get some rods out in the pond, and let's see if we can have a mega session. Let's get on it. Right, the rods are going out then. So I'm doing it a little bit different this time, of which I am going to show you. So what I've done differently is I've got some tungsten loaded tubing on there, and the reason for that is I had a fish, basically a scale came off when the fish last time, which I wasn't happy about. So I have decided, instead of going naked, I'm going to put a bit of tubing on just to help protect the fish a bit. I'm using a heli lead. This is something I've done quite a bit in the past, and the reason for that is instead of using a swivel lead, a heli lead has less movement, so the fish can sort of not move around as easy with the rig, so there's less chance of them doing you. And then hook bait wise, I'm using my sort of version of the Ronnie for a bottom bait, but I'm actually going to use snowmen, and I'm going to use one match to hatch like this, so that's a DNA bug pop-up 12mm and a 50mm cured bottom bait. And then on the other 2, I'm going to keep the same 50mm cured bottom bait, but I'm actually putting a bright one on top. So I've got one on yellow and one on orange, and the reason for that is I'm going to put a decent amount of bait out, and my theory is if a couple of them are maybe bright, they might get picked off that little bit quicker amongst a load of bait. And then if I do start to get bites, the chances are I can either take away the colours and just fish the food baits, which then they'll be preoccupied on. But it might just be a little bit of a way of getting a couple of quicker bites, potentially. It's not guaranteed, but it's potential, and I just want to give it a go and see if it works. So before we send this out, I'm just going to lower it in and just check it's balanced okay. It's balanced absolutely perfect. That looks absolutely amazing. I mean, to be honest, that over a bed of bait is going to look mega. Right. Rod number 2 then, as you can see, exactly the same. I've just got a bright orange one on there, just for a sight bob. Hopefully it'll get picked out a bit quicker maybe. It's worth a go, so we'll see what happens. I've been doing well just using the food bait, so it might be that I have to change them, but it's worth giving it a go for the time being. Oh, that went down absolutely fantastic. Rod number 3 then, again, exactly the same, this time a yellow one. Again, just lower it in. Oh, yes, it's nice. Right, this one I think is going to have to go slightly left. And that one is slightly left. Well, that's all 3 rods. All right on the money. No bait out there yet, but they're all out the fishing, so happy days. Just got to get that lot out there now, and then some more. Absolutely feed them up, see if we can get them on that spot, absolutely grabbing. Oh, let's give it to them. So the 3 rods are currently out fishing. I've still got to put the bait out, and I was just thinking about putting some bait out, and I realised I've made an absolute fail. So you're not going to believe this, but I literally was just thinking about getting the bait done. I've mixed it all up and that, and I thought, right, let's get some bait out. Guess what I've forgotten? Yep, you've guessed it. I forgot to open the tin of cider. Oh, cheers. Can't forget that, can I? And there we go. That is a fair bit of bait. There we go then, base camp is sorted and we're all set up ready for something to happen. So I'm under the Avenger 65-inch brolly again. Love this thing. I've already done a talk through on it, so I'm not going to do a full talk through now, but basically it's got these wicked sides that you can pull out really far, and it sort of drops it down really low, so you get loads of full coverage even with an open front. Also the top has got a peak. So up here you've got this peak section, which means you can obviously sit upright, but it's still nice and low. It's a really nice little feature, that. So yeah, absolutely love it. Nice and lightweight, quite quick to go up, so job's a good one. These are the 2 EVA, down here are the 2 EVA bags that I use. One's got bait, one's got food, but I actually use those as a little bit of a table, just to put like my hat glasses on and stuff like that at night. Down the other end I've got the Ridge Monkey. This tends to be my little cooking area where I do my cooking and make a brew and all that sort of jazz. That all gets tucked under the back of the bed at the end of the day. Bags at the back, that just keeps everything nice and dry. I also keep my camera gear at the back tucked away as well, so again it's like the driest point basically. I've got a mini little sheet on the bottom as well, Think and Angler sort of doubled over, so it stays nice and dry at the back so nothing gets damaged. Obviously got my rod bag tucked down there, that's empty, and then the barrow's got a few bits and bobs in it. I always put the sheet over it, even though it is EVA and it's fully waterproof. I always put the sheet over it just so I know 100% it's going to all stay nice and dry in there. I have also got a water butt and the scales on the back of it in case I need them. So yeah, that's that pretty much sorted. Obviously the rods are all out, and everything's looking good down here. I've got 2 nets. I've got one on the end there on the right hand side, that's in case obviously I get a fish kiting to the right, and I've got one on the left in case I get a fish kiting to the left. The advantage of having 2 nets as well is if you do get a double take, or you get a fish in the net and then one of them does happen to go again quite quickly, you can put fish in separate nets. It's so hard trying to put fish in 2 nets, so yeah, sometimes if you think you're going to get a few bites, it is worth bringing 2 nets. At the moment the spod rod is lent up over there. I'll probably strap that to the brolly later on. But yeah, that is the base camp. So just a bit of a look around in case anyone's interested. Sometimes people are interested in how you set everything up and what kind of kit you use and what you bring and how you do everything. So that's just a bit of an insight into what I get up to. But anyway, it's time to fire that bad boy up, get that ridge monkey out and get some food on, because I'm absolutely starving. Right then, well, we're all settled in, and I've had a bit of food and everything, so yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. Rods are out. Everything took way longer than I thought it would. The spodding took a long time. I did put a lot of bait out. Don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We will see what happens, I guess. But I just wanted to try it. Just wanted to test it out, see if putting in like a big bit of bait or a lot more bait than normal initially will make any difference or not, or whether it's going to absolutely kill the spot. It's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, obviously I redid all the rigs, freshened everything up as well, so that took a little bit of time sorting that out. But everything's out there sweet, and it all went out really well. Rods actually went out really nice, to be fair, very accurate, so I was really happy with that. And I am absolutely buzzing with confidence. Probably out because obviously I've already caught a fish today, not from this lake, but from the other syndicate. So I'm absolutely on a high after catching that. But I am very confident, not just because of that, but also obviously I've caught fish from this swim recently. I've caught a lot from it in the past. It is one of my favourite swims on the lake, and I always feel quite confident when I'm in here. So yeah, hopefully it all comes good, but we shall see. It is getting dark now. I mean, I've got the light on just because obviously the quality otherwise is terrible in low light conditions, but it is still a little bit, there's a tiny little bit of light still, but it looks like it's going to be clear tonight, which means it might drop off a little bit chilly. I'm not too sure. Hopefully not too bad. But the moon looks very, very bright, so I think it's going to be quite bright anyway, because the moon's sort of pumping some light out at the moment. So yeah, looks pretty cool though. But anyway, yeah, hopefully something will happen and we'll have something to tell you about during the night. If not, I'll probably be updating you in the morning, doing a coffee update, trying to come up with excuses as to why I've not caught anything in the night. So I guess until I catch one, or until I've had a good sleep and wake up, I'll speak to you in the morning. Well, good morning then, and it is a coffee update time. Unfortunately, it was a quiet night for me. The temperature last night really dropped off. Wasn't really expecting it. I had to put on a couple of hoodies. I reckon it probably dropped by about 10 degrees. The daytime I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It's really nice and warm. But yeah, last night I actually had to put 2 hoodies on just to take the edge off. I really felt cold. Might have been because I was tired as well, to be fair, because I hadn't had a lot of sleep the last few days. But yeah, definitely felt a big change in temperature. So it was a really clear night, starlit sky. There's a half moon out, really, really bright. So I don't know if that maybe affected the conditions and affected the fish feeding. But yeah, obviously didn't happen. But this morning though, it's completely changed. It's gone mega overcast. We've had quite a bit of rain. It's raining at the moment. And there's been a bit of a wind on the water, and to be honest, earlier on there was a flat spot coming up off the bait, and just to give you an idea of what that tends to be, is because I'm using a lot of pellet. I've got quite a bit of pellet in the mix as well as the boilie. The pellet breaks down, goes all mushy, and it releases all the oils. There's quite a lot of oil in pellet, and when the fish come in and start rooting around on the spot, it disturbs the bottom, disturbs the bait, and then the oils rise up off the bottom and it creates a flat spot on the surface. So that's one of the reasons I love pellet. Carp absolutely love it, but also it gives you a great indication if there's fish out there feeding. So yeah, that happened. I ended up digging out the GoPro, whacking the GoPro on. I was thinking, here we go, we're going to get a bite, but unfortunately it hasn't happened. But I have been seeing a few fish showing. There's been a few sort of knocking around, maybe a little bit beyond the spot. There's also been quite a few sort of more to the left, over towards the point direction more, but they're definitely active.
It looks good for it. I think I've just got that bit too much bait out there if I look at it now. I think maybe I did go in a bit too heavy, bit too optimistic, but it was worth giving it a go just to see how they reacted to it. So hopefully the fish have been visiting it, they keep coming back and visiting it, and at some point we will get that bite. So I'm still relatively confident, but anyway, I'm going to finish off my coffee, I'm going to have a bit of breakfast, and hopefully we will be showing you this fish very shortly.
So it's finally stopped raining. I've been able to get out from underneath the brolly. I've literally had to spend the whole morning under there. I have been watching the water there while I've been sat under there and scanning for signs of fish, and to be fair, there's been quite a few fish showing. At the moment there's quite a few fish showing just beyond my baited area. There has been the odd flat spot coming up though, so I do think there's been a few fish visiting it, but also it could be the fact that the pellet by now is probably just mush, and so a lot of the smaller fish, the silvers, tench bream, that sort of stuff, although there's not a huge head of tench and bream, they are big, so they could have obviously been out there having that as well. So potentially it could just be mostly boilie out there. Some of the boilie as well was 8 millers, so obviously the smaller fish would be having that, no doubt. But yeah, there's still been a good sign out there that there's fish in the location. I've seen a couple of fish, one of them come absolutely fully out of the water. Couldn't believe it, absolutely launched itself. But there's another guy turning up as well. He's gone in to the big log. So at the moment the top end of the lake is pretty much stitched up. There's a couple of the smaller swims, but the main swims at the top end are fully stitched up. So I think there's 5 of us on here now. So I'm the furthest down this end of the lake. The kind of bottom third of the lake is angler free, line free at the moment. There's been a few fish showing down that way, but not loads. I have seen a couple of fish lumping out in the bottom corner, sort of right down in this corner down here. So I'm trying to keep an eye on that, because it might be an opportunity to just go down there with a couple of rods and just like chuck a couple of rigs out, maybe even just sneak a couple of zigs in, just for like an opportunist sort of bite. But anyway, I haven't touched any of the rods. They've remained out there. Mainly due to how many fish have been showing. I really thought I was going to get a bite, and also because the weather's just been grim, I've just left them for the time being. But I am going to need to go and use the toilet soon, so I'm going to end up reeling those rods in, obviously go and use the toilet. I'll then sort of refresh everything, put out fresh rigs, put out fresh hook baits, and put a couple of fresh spods out there just to sort of reactivate the spot, get some fresh attraction out there, and hopefully that'll be enough to maybe draw in some fish, and we might be able to get something later on this evening. So I think if I'm going to get something, it's probably going to be this evening or through the night, because that seems to be more bite time at the moment. So we will see what happens, but I am still very confident. So yeah, fingers crossed it pays off and we can actually have one. So in that last update I mentioned that there were a few fish showing down in the corner, and literally as soon as I put the camera down, I think the guy from the car park come past with his gear and has got in next door to me. So I think he might have seen those fish showing and has kind of acted on it. So fair play. What I don't think is great though is that he then decided to hammer in some pegs, I think it was, or maybe bank sticks with a mallet. A, the ground is really soft, and B, you don't need a mallet. Use your foot. You don't need to use a mallet. I really don't see why people do it. It's so annoying, it's so loud, especially when you've seen fish show and you're obviously moving in on them. Why would you then want to make a load of noise on the bank? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, that's a whole conversation in itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a bit of footage of something that's just really strange. It's actually just come up again in front of me, but basically I'll overlay it now. Is some footage of something sort of swimming along or sort of sticking out of the water, and it looks a little bit like a fish's fin, but at the same time I don't think it is. It's really hard, I can't quite tell. I got the long lens out and zoomed in on it, but it's really odd. It's almost acting like a fin. Sorry, it almost looks like a fin, but it's not really acting in the way I would expect one to. There was a bit of a wake at one point as well, so it looks like there might be some kind of size to whatever it is, but yeah, really strange. But it'd be interesting to know, what do you think the object is? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, very odd. Right, well, just on the way back from using a toilet, which I'm sure you guys want to know, but it's got to be done. And just picked up another tripod, just so I can get some different angles. I haven't used this one all year, actually. This is my big one. It's the original one I used to use. I've got a little compact one that I use at the moment, just to keep the weight down. But because I'm not too far from the van, I thought I'd go and get the big one. I just keep it in the van in case I ever need it. But anyway, we are back in the swim, and I also need to get the rods and that back out. So I've had a little bit of a chat to some of the other anglers, and there's been a couple of fish caught. Not loads. Yeah, there's been a couple of fish caught. Not loads, but yeah, there's been a few sort of dotted around. So it does seem like the fish are quite spread out at the moment. But I'm going to persist with the tactics, persist with the spot. Part of me is thinking of maybe fishing a rod a bit shorter, because I've seen a bit of movement in closer. But now that there's a guy down to my left who, looking at his marker float out there, don't know if you can see that. It looks like he's fishing quite close in. But anyway, let's get the rod sorted, get a couple more spots out there, and see if we can make it happen this evening. Right, well, I've just put a bit more bait out onto the spot. I actually decided to add some veg into the mix, so I've put a couple of tins of sweet corn in there. The reason for that is it's more traction, it adds a bit of colour to the spot as well. I've not done anything like that yet. I don't tend to use particles. I do prefer sort of boiling pellet, but because nothing's happening, I thought, you know what, I'll mix it up a little bit, stick a little bit of flash of colour in there with the sweet corn. So, you know, not many carp can ignore sweet corn, so it might make a bit of a difference. But also what it's allowing me to do is fish slightly different hook baits. So instead of using the 3 snowmen that I had out last night, what I'm going to do is use a different rig on each one. So on one of the rigs, I'm going to go in with the faithful Ronnie, and on there I've got a little yellow 12mm PB pop-up, which is going to imitate the corn slightly, so obviously going to match that colour. Then on another one I'm going to go in with the same rig as last night, so the Ronnie set up with a snowman, so I've got a 50mm cured bottom bait, and on this one I've got a 12mm pink peril. So I didn't use pink last night, so I thought I'd put that one out. So I've got 2 sort of flashes of colour there. And then the last one is going to be what's done me really well on other sessions. I'm going to just go with a sort of match the hatch style. So that is actually a trimmed down 18mm cured bait, and I've just trimmed it down into a little bit more of a dumbbell shape because I've got some dumbbells in the mix, and that's on my flip Ronnie setup. So yeah, that's a straight bottom bait basically. I've got one on a snowman and one on a pop-up, so basically 3 different rigs, but also very similar in their own way as well. So anyway, I need to get those out in the pond now. I've put a bit of bait out there initially. Hopefully that's going to spook off any fish that might have been out there. I'm going to now get the 3 rods out, and then we will be fishing again. So let's get them out in the pond. So I've had to strip all the line off the 3rd rod. I don't know why it was so twisted, but it was absolutely rubbish. So I've stripped it all off, down to the back in, and I'm going to now have to put some new line on. So there's all the old line then on the wrapping sticks, and this is actually a really easy way of redoing your rods. You can also measure how much you're taking off when you're doing it, so you know exactly how much line you're taking off. So then you know if you've got a, say, 1,000 metre spool of line, you know how much you're taking off and how much is going to be going back on, so you can actually spool up the rods perfectly without any wastage. So yeah, really efficient way of doing it. So I've decided to put the new spool line in the water just to soften it up a little bit. It's obviously going to take on water and it should bed down a lot better. It's not actually something I normally do, but because I can today, I thought I'd give it sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, drop it to margin, and then I'll spool it up. So hopefully it goes on really nicely, beds down, and hopefully I don't get any problems with any twist in the line, because it's starting to drive me mad, to be honest. There's the spool of line then, just taking it out the margin, and as you can see it looks like it's taking that water on nicely, so hopefully that's going to bed down on the spool a lot better, and hopefully I won't get too much line twist. But I'm using a new line. I've not used this version before. I've used the green Mimicry 3D, but I've not used the brown. They didn't have any, or I didn't have any to hand of the green, which I would prefer, but this is probably just as good anyway, so I'm going to whack this on the reel and give it a bash. Right then, so the rods are all back out now, all three of them. Little bit of a delay, what with having to re-spool one of the reels, but a couple of the rods have been out for, I don't know, about 45 minutes maybe. I've just got that last rod out after spooling it up and re-rigging it, so everything's fishing lovely now. But I think it's about 6:30 on the evening, so it is definitely time for some food. There's been a couple of fish showing, so hopefully they're also up for a bit of food. But while I'm waiting for them to have a munch, I'm going to have a bit of a munch myself, get some food on the go, and hopefully we will be getting a bite sometime this evening, or through the night, or in the morning. But hopefully we'll get a bite. So anyway, let's get some food on. Right, morning then. So, unfortunately, it was a quiet night, as I'm probably sure you've guessed, because you're seeing me and not a fish. Unfortunately, it's not happened. I think, if I'm honest, tactics-wise, I've probably ruined it. I think I've gone in too heavy with the bait. I obviously wanted to try it. I'm not going to knock that decision, to be fair, because it was something I wanted to try. I think because of the conditions, it's been very changing conditions. We've had quite cool temperatures, quite warm temperatures, we've had quite a bit of rain, and today it is absolutely boiling. So yeah, very, very changing conditions, and I think the fish just haven't been consistent enough to be able to sort of get their heads down and feed properly. So yesterday I had a bit of a chat to a few guys, where there was the odd fish caught, not many, seems like maybe sort of 1 or 2 fish coming out here and there, so no consistency really to any sort of catch reports. But last night I heard a few fish showing down to my left, kind of in front of the swim next to me, but there is a guy in there. I've seen a couple of fish show over towards the point early this morning, but not many. They don't look like they're feeding, they look like they're moving around and just active. I think just enjoying the warm weather today. So I think I'm not too sure what to do, if I'm quite honest with you. I don't know whether to stick out on the spot, switch to zigs, fish a bit longer, move swims. I'm really not too sure what to do, but I've got the brolly set up just in case you're wondering what's going on here. That's basically just giving me a bit of extra shade. The sun came up right in front of me this morning, was blasting in here, it was boiling hot, and when I was trying to make some food and have my morning coffee, I was so hot I just couldn't deal with it, so I put the brolly up, and actually it cooled it right off in here. So a little bit of a extra plug for the Fortis brolly. If you haven't seen it, I did a little review on one of the videos of how great I think these things are, and actually it works really well for keeping you cool as well by giving you a bit of extra shade. So definitely a winner, that thing. But anyway, like I said, I'm not too sure what to do. I'm going to have to go for a call in nature shortly, so I'm going to be bringing the rods in. I might have a bit of a walk around to see what's going on around the lake, and then try and make a decision from there. So yeah, I'll obviously update you later on once I know what I'm doing. But until then, I'm going to keep on drinking water because I'm absolutely boiling, and I will speak to you a bit later. Right, it's about mid-afternoon now, So I did bring the rods in about midday-ish or thereabouts and went for a little bit of a walk around. I saw a few fish dotted around in little pockets. A lot of them a few foot under the surface, just cruising about, moving very, very quickly. I think they're just having fun and enjoying the weather, if I'm honest. Didn't really see any opportunity to do any sort of stalking or floater fishing. Nothing really looked like it was going to be catchable. So I literally just come back into the swim and got the rods back out onto the spot. So it's not ideal. It's not my favourite way of fishing, sort of sitting on your hands and just hoping for the best. But at the moment, I haven't really seen any other opportunities. Now, obviously the fish were showing over at the other side this morning, and that could have been an opportunity. I could have moved around there and chucked out some solid bags possibly to try and nick a bite like that. But at the same time, I obviously wanted to keep the rods out on the spot because I thought there was a chance of a bite out there. So it is what it is at the end of the day. You can only make the decision at the time, and that is what I decided to do. And it unfortunately didn't pay off, but it is what it is. So anyway, I've been watching the water a little bit, as always. I've not really seen anything show since sort of getting the rods back out. It's been quite quiet. So yeah, I don't really know what else to do really, other than just sit it out. It's been a very tricky session. Not ideal. Definitely put too much bait in initially. I'm definitely not going to do that again. But it is, you know, trial and error. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'm going to go and get myself a drink because I am so hot. It is absolutely boiling today. So I'm going to go and get another drink, stay hydrated, and hopefully one of the rods will go absolutely screaming off at some point. Right then, we are sat on the low chair in front of the brolly. That's because it's the coolest place I've been able to find. Obviously, being in the actual brolly itself, it reflects your heat, it absorbs the heat of the sun, so it can get quite warm in there. But if you sit in front of it, but in the shade, obviously you kind of get the advantage of having the shade, and it's not quite as warm. There's also a little bit of a breeze coming through because I'm out of the cover of the brolly, so it's a lot cooler. I've also, you might have noticed, taken my hat off so you guys can see my incredible haircut. So that is a number 4 all over by yours truly. If anyone's interested in any haircuts, then obviously drop your details below and hit me up. But no, I've taken the hat off because obviously it helps retain your heat as well. So I've just let my head air out a little bit just to cool down a bit. But basically I'm just sat here watching the water, just trying to see if anything is going to give itself away. Ideally, I'm sat here hoping an absolute chunk is going to flop out over that baited spot, a slick's going to come up, and then left hand rod's going to go tanking off. But I've been thinking that since I got her and it's still not happened yet. So clearly thinking it won't make it happen. But yes, it's a very hard session, to be fair. It's just not ideal conditions. I think I've ruined it a bit by putting that bait in, which I've probably said about 1,000 times. But just to reiterate it really, I think I've put too much bait in. So it was worth giving it a go. But yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. But I'm going out again on the Friday, so Wednesday today. So I've got a day at home, taking the lad out tomorrow. And then I'm actually back out on Friday because we've actually got the YouTube Bloggers match, which we organise. We're going to Thorpley, I believe. I've actually let Hugh organise it. But yeah, it's Thorpley. We did fish it once ages ago, didn't do well at all, we blanked in the winter, but it'd be nice to go back there. Hopefully we can get on some fish and have a few bites and have a nice bit of a social, definitely be consuming some tins of cider and hopefully some extremely unhealthy food. So happy days. Sounds like a plan even if we don't catch anything. Anyway, I'm going to leave this there. Like I said, if you've got any binoculars you can recommend, chuck a comment below and I will speak to you a little bit later. Right then, I can't believe it. I've left it right till the end and the spot is absolutely kicked off. Get in there. What a result then. I've had a liner on the left hand rod, absolutely kicking right off over here. Yeah, on a serious note though, nothing's happening. I can't believe it, to be honest. I really can't believe 2 nights and I've blanked, or it looks like I'm going to blank. I've got about half hour to go. The kit is packed down pretty much. I've just got the rods out still and I'm just hoping I'm going to get a last minute banger, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen if I'm honest. But anyway, I would just like to say, just take from this video, the fact that I've obviously gone in with a heavy baiting sort of tactic and it hasn't paid off. And to be honest, it very rarely does. I just really wanted to give it a try and see what happened, and obviously nothing. So it's just trying to take everything. So whenever you blank, just try and take something from it. And what I've learned from this session is I'm probably never going to try that again on there. The little and often has worked for me a lot in the past, and I'm probably going to continue to do that. I just really wanted to see how they reacted to a lot of bait. I have actually done it in the past. Me and Hugh did a versus light baiting versus heavy baiting, and I actually caught a couple of fish off of it, but I think the fish was just on it at the time. And you know what, if I was fishing little and often, I might have been able to pick off more, but it is what it is, isn't it? But anyway, I still really enjoyed being on the bank for a few days. Obviously went to the other syndicate first and I had a banger out of there, so I'm still well happy with that. I even had a look at the photos yesterday night and had a look at them on the laptop, and it's such a mega fish, so I'm really happy with that. And to be fair, you've probably already seen that video if you watch every week, but yes, it is a bit of a shame it's not happened, but that is fishing. So I've actually had a message from the missus. She's had the lad obviously while I've been out, and they went away for the weekend, and she just told me today that he's been an absolute nightmare. She's had an absolute rough day, and yeah, I think I'm going to be greeted by a bit of a grumpy one when I get back, but it is what it is. Hopefully I can try and keep him in line tomorrow, because I will be spending the day with him tomorrow before then going out fishing again. I'm going out for the bloggers match on Friday, so I've only got tomorrow at home and I'm off again for another 2 nights, so she's really happy about that. But you know, it is what it is. So hopefully the bloggers match ends up being successful. Potentially that will be following this video. We are going to a mega venue. We're going over to Surrey, somewhere we've not fished properly before, and it's got a big head of fish in it, some nice ones in there as well, so hopefully we'll be lucky on there and have a few. But anyway, that is the end of the video, so I'm going to leave it here. Just on the last note, remember to let me know your binocular recommendations in the comments below. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Check out the social media showing below. And until next time, until next Tuesday, 6 o'clock, I will be seeing you. So get out there, be lucky. See you next week.